Hello. Before we start, I will talk in my phone because the audio will not be good if I record it only from the lab. So let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Khalid, and I will be talking today about my ethical review in nanoparticle toxicity in consumer hardware, specifically the cadmium quantum dots dilemma that happened between 2014 and 2018. So, to begin with the background, quantum dots revolutionized display technology by giving us QLED screens with hyper-vibrant color and purity and lower energy consumption. But, however, high-efficiency quantum dots rely on cadmium selenide that goes as CDSE cores. Cadmium is a toxic heavy metal and carcinogenic that is carcinogenic. And is heavily restricted under EU ROHS regulations. So, the problem is when millions of QLED TVs are discarded, these heavy metals leach into underground water and soil and ecosystems, primarily in developing nations that handle global e-waste. And I selected this case because it's in direct touch with my major, nanotechnology and nanoengineering, and it shows how the nanoscale engineering decisions made in R&D labs have far-reaching and long-term environmental and public health impacts. Let's dive in. The central ethical dilemma facing engineers now is profit and performance versus public and environmental health. On one side, commercial motivations such as high consumer demand for brighter displays and energy efficiency and low production costs drove rapid CDSE adoption. Instead of investing heavily in safer cadmium-free alternatives, manufacturers actively lobbied for regulatory loopholes and temporary ROHS exceptions that they would make such a hole in this that they will use a loophole in the rules to escape punishment or restriction. And on the other side, severe societal risks that heavy metal leaching and long-term public health consequences for vulnerable populations living near e-waste processing hubs. Evaluating this case through our course's moral frameworks highlights clear ethical failures under utilitarianism and cost-benefit analysis. Manufacturers prioritized short-term consumer display performance and cost savings. However, utilitarianism requires maxing the net good for all society, and the long-term e-waste containment is vulnerable communities for outweighs temporary gains in display brightness. Moving to next moral framework, under deontology and rights ethics, contained duty dictates an absolute moral obligated to prevent forcible public harm, and legal loopholes do not absolve engineers of this duty. Furthermore, society holds an inherent right to clean water and unpolluted environment. Using legal exceptions treats future generations merely as tools. So, what are you doing? As tools for corporate profit. Let's move on to the next slide. Looking at engineering responsibilities, regulatory exceptions do not equal ethical compliance. Engineers must proactively eliminate hazards at the R&D stage, not wait for the legal mandates. And under the NSPE Code Canon 1, engineers shall hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. The obligation superates corporate directives. Additionally, the NSPE Sustainable Development Principle mandates serving the public interest while preventing ecosystems for future generations, preserving ecosystems for future generations. As nanoelectronics engineers, our professional duty is to report toxicological risks and champion green alternatives like cadmium-free indium phosphide INP quantum dots. So, if I were in a position of authority as an engineering leader, I would implement 3 proactive solutions. 1. Life cycle assessments enforce mandatory toxicity and disposable and e-waste LCAs during initial nanomaterial R&D to identify hazards before scaling production. 2. The creative middle way direct R&D capital into cadmium-free indium phosphide nanoparticles to bridge the performance gap safely without sacrificing efficiency. 3. E-waste take-back programs establish closed-loop recycling networks to safely recover heavy metal components at the end of life. To conclude, microscopic engineering decisions carry massive macroscopic public responsibilities. Engineering must develop moral autonomy to act with integrity at every scale, prioritize public safety first, and ensuring our design and are sustainable and by default. And thank you for your time.